Image Analysis Laboratory from 2005 and focuses on interdisciplinary research to create and apply engineering techniques in medical image analysis. Professor Chung has also been active in providing professional services to the international academic community. Welcome, Professor Chung.
Thank you for the kind introduction.
Ms. Zorian Wong is the International Recruitment Coordinator of the Hong Kong University of Science and Technology.
Well, happy to be here. Thank you.
Also joining us is Ms. Jess Strong, who's the International Recruitment Coordinator at the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign since 2019.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Now, we'd like to invite Professor Albert Chung to tell us more about the engineering program of the Hong Kong University of Science and Technology.
Yes, certainly, yes, yeah. My name is Albert. Again, it's a great pleasure to talk to you and also introduce our school of engineering at HKUST. Our school has departments. Is a relatively inside in Hong Kong is a big school, even though the university is not a big university. Within the university, we have 6 departments. We have chemical and biological engineering, civil and environmental engineering, computer science and engineering, and I'm home at computer science and engineering, electronic and computer engineering, industrial engineering and decision analytics. And also the last but not least is chemical and aerospace engineering. And then the 6 departments, they're offering different majors related to the theme of the department. Then probably you can tell computer science offering computer science major, the same for the other majors. So it's a 6 department school. And also the student, if you join us in the first year, you don't need to declare your major. You can spend 1 year sort of shopping around, and then you can take different introduction courses to learn more about different majors before you make your final decision by the end of the first year. So we call it a school-based admission. So if you apply, you will enter the engineering school first, and in the second year, then you will enter your major. So this is our school engineering. Okay.
Thank you, Professor Chung. Now let's hear from Ms. Jess Strong.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having me. Again, my name is Jess Strong. I'm the International Recruitment Coordinator at UIUC. At UIUC, we have over 155 majors across 11 colleges and communities here. But the Granger College of Engineering is definitely one of our most prestigious and notorious programs. We have 15 engineering programs located on our campus. 14 of them are in the Granger College of Engineering. Our chemistry department does not want to give up chemical engineering, so it is still in the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences, but still an engineering degree from Illinois. So you have 15 different majors you can study. We are really well known for our computer science program and computer engineering. So much so that computer science said, we want more people to study here. So we've created 13 computer science plus X programs is the nickname for them. And they combine our computer science engineering curriculum with a variety of other disciplines across colleges. So that might be computer science and education. Since we have turned to the virtual reality world, how do we better our education outcomes? Or computer science and linguistics, how do we make better Google Home or Siri technology on our phones? So there are 13 different programs that combine those industries that I would like to say are closely related to engineering, just not in our College of Engineering. But happy to talk to you more about some of those disciplines and areas, how it looks at our campus as well.
Thank you, Ms. Strong. Now let's move on to our talk show. The question is for all the panelists. So what exactly are the fields in engineering and how are they different from each other? Perhaps Professor Chung can start.
Right, and I can start first. So the fields actually can be very different in different university. In HKUST, we are sort of dividing the fields into 6 by just name according to the department, and then the names actually related to the fields. The one unique field in HKUST and you cannot find in other universities in Hong Kong is the chemical and biological engineering. So this is a unique theme we have in the university, and also this is a unique department, very, very special. And they are certainly from the names, and you can see some separation between departments. In the past few years, and we try to blur the boundaries between departments by introducing a new program similar to UIUC, and we have the Engineering Plus X program. Then the student X can be different every year, and then this year, and I'm sure will be coming years, will be we have a new program called Engineering Plus AI program, and then the student will take courses in AI and also select major in different departments. So the student can learn the emerging technology in AI and also can study in the major study. So we try to combine different fields in the major study. Right, so this is these are our school engineering. Okay.
Thank you, Professor Chung. Ms. Strong?
Absolutely. So a lot of what Professor Chung mentioned is going to be similar at UIUC. I'm going to share a link to everyone through the chat out that is a really helpful tool across all areas. When you go to this website, there's a quiz you can take that says, figure out what discipline of engineering fits you based on kind of how the classes are taught and things you're interested in, because there are so many different areas you can go into. So one that I'll highlight that's something we like on our campus is material science engineering. So if you all are familiar with corrugated cardboard, so you probably have opened a box that has cardboard. Corrugated cardboard was invented on our campus through the material science program. So practical skills and knowledge kind of through some of those areas. So that's one area you'll see. Aerospace, electrical engineering. One new area as well we're doing is systems engineering and design. So how does engineering fit into the business world and entrepreneurship and everyday science?
You can have a preference before you join us. However, once you join us, you will have 1 year to explore different disciplines before you make your final decision. So this is a plus that if you join us, you have some flexibility on that. Thank
That's
you.
great. Now, for the next question is for Ms. Strong. Which field is the most in demand right now?
The most in demand right now, computer science, hands down. We have actually had, yes, absolutely. We have now had to close off computer science. If you're not directly admitted to it as an incoming first-year student, you cannot transfer into it ever. The program is at capacity, and to keep kind of that boundaries we have. But we have opened up those computer science plus X disciplines as well as computer science minors. And if anyone does those programs on our campus, they are able to directly admit into our master's program, 5th year master's for CS. So there's multiple ways to study it. I would say right after that's mechanical engineering. Everyone wants to be a mechanical engineer as well. So there are lots of ways to still study those paths on campuses without that full degree. So I think that's something students should also be open to looking at. That's not, I know, just at UIUC. I think that's across the world in terms of what everyone is thinking hot topics right now. Computing, mechanical engineering, electrical engineering is growing in popularity. So if you have really niche interests in engineering, look at those programs for sure.
All right, awesome. Next question is to Professor Chung.
Can I compliment the whole area a little bit? since I'm professor in computer science, I would like to say something about computer science. Yeah, then I can see, I totally agree. Jessica mentioned computer science now is the hot area. I personally, I feel the same actually in Hong Kong. And also the students, they like emerging technology. And if you read newspaper and also watch video and news, they mentioned artificial intelligence is an emerging technology. So students, they like to learn the new latest technology in the university. And also most of this, not most, I'm sorry. So students, we have large number of students, they want to join computer science program. But in XJUST, computer science is not the only program we offer related to IT. Also, we have computer engineering, and also we have decision analytics. So we have at least 3-4 programs related to IT. And also, if students like to keep their own interest, for example, I like robotics, I want to join mechanical engineering, but I want to learn some knowledge in IT, then they can join our new program, Engineering Plus AI.
All right. To Professor Chong again, why should we choose a career in engineering, and what are the academic and personal requirements to becoming one?
Okay, so why should a person choose engineering? This is a very personal question, but I can share my own experience. When I was in high school, I like to work with others, and I like teamwork. So engineering fits me because I like to work together to solve some problem. And engineering, part of the goal is to solve problem. Then we solve problem together with students from different backgrounds like mechanical engineering, civil engineering. So it was one main reason why I joined engineering. I picked engineering in my final year in high school. And the second reason is I like new technology. Of course, in my time, 20 years ago, the new technology was just new computer. But now new technology can be artificial intelligence and also cloud computing, blockchain. So all these are new technology, 5G, wireless communication. So all those are latest technology students, they like to learn. So because of my interest in new technology, I like to work with others, and I pick engineering. So I guess students also may have similar reason to choose engineering, and also the personality. I think it fits a lot of students. In fact, if you're passionate about applying technology in solving problem, and this is the field for you.
Perhaps Ms. Strong would like to add anything?
I think that when I talk to students interested in engineering, it's students that are innovative and creative and wanting to advance things like Professor Chung had been mentioning. And so finding those areas, it's hands-on. But I also will really make sure you love math and physics. It's a lot of math and physics, and sometimes students don't think about that at a high level. And so think about it. Do you love calculus? If the answer is no, it might not be a good fit, and that's okay. There's other programs out there for you that involve a lot of these same skill sets. So think through your physics and calculus base and see if that's a good area for you. And if so, and you want to be innovative and creative in different fields and hands-on, engineering could be a good fit for you.
This question goes for all our panelists. So what kinds of jobs are available once you graduate with a degree in engineering?
Okay, job. So I maybe I say something about job. Okay, yeah. I look at the students. Where do they go after graduate? In XJUST Engineering School, most of the students, around 83%, if I remember, or around 80% of students, they find job in industry, engineering companies, education. So they work in, most of them work in Hong Kong, even though of course, local students, they work in Hong Kong. It's very natural. The non-local student also, more than 80%, they prefer working in Hong Kong after graduation because of our flexible immigration policy.
Yes.
And also, so what are the other students? Because we are research-based university in Hong Kong, and the students, they have experience, they have chance in joining research lab and join some small scale projects. So around 13 to 15% of the students, they prefer studying abroad for PhD program, or in Hong Kong for master program. as well. So the other like 3%, they have their own startup company, a bit to become entrepreneur after they graduate. And these are where they are going after they graduate. About the jobs, and Hong Kong was badly hit last year because of COVID. So we saw not many jobs in the beginning of the 2020. But in the second half of the 2020, we start to see jobs are coming out because of the development in Hong Kong. Now we are talking about the digital transformation, using new technology, enhancing the working efficiency, improving the customers' experience, all those transformation that going through in Hong Kong. And also Hong Kong is part of the Greater Bay Area, a lot of construction, gigantic projects in the Greater Bay Area in Hong Kong. So we see more opportunities in future. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
I think he's mentioned a lot of really great areas and industries. I would say that we're seeing students. I just looked up our top 5 majors and kind of career options from engineering. So a lot of research. I see students going into practical skills of research and continuing that. Application design, consulting, data analysis, software development. They're going into engine work or automotive manufacturing, packaging. The list goes on. I think what you can know from this is that you're going to be marketable. You're going to have a lot of practical skills that work across industries, because in all engineering schools, you're getting a foundation that can be used across the board. It's an evolving field. And so they want to make sure you have skill sets that are transferable too. So it's going to be definitely marketable options. For UIUC specific, where they're going, we have students in alumni chapters in 77 different countries. So they're going all over the world, as well as all over the US. So it just depends what industry you want to be in. We have alumni we'll connect you with if that's the case, but you're going to be marketable with an engineering degree. Take home that if you need anything.
That's good to know.
Based on your experiences, what are the new breakthroughs in engineering and what are the trends taking place in that field? Perhaps Professor Chung would like to start.
I beg your pardon. Could you repeat your question? I really can't hear well.
Based on your experiences, what are the new breakthroughs in engineering and what are the trends taking place in the field?
Okay. Thank you. The breakthrough in engineering. Certainly, my area is computer science. I just nominate artificial intelligence. Imagine in the past few years, and you may have heard artificial intelligence everywhere in newspaper, in the job advertisement, and also in the school. Indeed, this is a big breakthrough. Because in the past, and we couldn't easily run artificial intelligence method on computer. Now this is possible because of the machine is getting more powerful, and also the method is now relatively easy to run, and also the cloud computing is getting more popular. Even if you do not have a good computer, you just subscribe a service and run your analysis in the cloud. And this is possible as well. So this is a breakthrough in recent years. Because of that breakthrough, actually you can see the outcomes now. For example, autonomous driving. Now the AI methods could be implemented and also run on autonomous vehicle. And also in industry, they want to automate the work process, do more analysis because of the 5G technology. They collect more data to do more analysis, because AI is good at finding relationship between different types of data and also analyzing very complicated data. So this is the latest breakthrough I would like to nominate.
Ms. Wang, would you like to comment on that?
I think Professor Chung's going to have a lot more insight on this being practically in the field itself, but I think that the thing I keep pushing back is that technology and innovation within this world is not going to reverse in terms of not being needed. Think about how much has changed over the last few years within technology, things that we just talked about. It's going to continue to evolve and continue kind of on that path moving forward. So just know that it's always going to have new fields and new industries that are coming up because we keep advancing technology more and more. So it's going to always be in demand.
Well, how about
We've
students?
heard about.
What do they think about the breakthrough they like in engineering? Maybe they can share in the chat later. Okay.
Yes. So we know that there is a license for engineering. How does one go about that license? Is it can we get one after graduating with a bachelor's degree, or is a master's degree required? Professor Chung?
Okay, I can start. Yeah. The chance is very high in Hong Kong. First of all, we have 15 professional engineering programs. They are all they all have the HKIE accreditation. HKIE is a professional body look at our program. It means this is HKIE. It stands for Hong Kong Institution of Engineers. So every 5 years they come to HK University, look at all programs details and student performance, and also their careers after graduation. And we all programs, they have the HKIE accreditation. So it means the programs are recognized not only in Hong Kong, because they use the standard, also it's the same in other parts of the world, Washington Accord and Seoul Accord. But it doesn't mean the student will automatically get professional engineer title. So in Hong Kong, the HKIE also run Scheme A, we call it Engineering Graduate Scheme A program in the companies. So a lot of companies, they're running this scheme, and then the student will work together with engineers for 2 to 3 years to gain experience in project management, to learn professional knowledge in different discipline. So 2 to 3 years, and after 2 to 3 years, and then also spend 1 to 2 year working experience, then the student will be entitled to be qualified professional engineer in Hong Kong and recognized in different parts of the world. Okay, thank you.
From my understanding, so we are an ABET accredited engineering program. So that is the accreditation board that oversees engineering and technology within the United States. Students are not required to be licensed graduating from an ABET accredited program for certain areas. There are some licensures depending on what skill sets they're needing that we can help kind of obtain. And there are some online courses that we offer to kind of help with those professional development hours to help students get to them. But it is something that our Career Center always helps students kind of navigate if necessary, depending where they're going. And so it's not something I would stress about as an incoming student. That's something we help you navigate before you graduate, depending where you end up. But there are some ways that we can go through that, but nothing I would stress about at this point in time.
Thank you. So thank you so much for sharing your knowledge about the course of the engineering programs in your schools. Now we'll move on to our Q&A. We have a couple of questions here. I believe Ms. Wong would like to take the first one. The question being, are dormitories available for at least 1 year, or how long are dormitories available for international students?
HKUST, for international students, they are provided at least 2 years university provided accommodation. And for year 3 and year 4, we do have what we call a lucky draw system. So for non-Hong Kong students, you will have more tickets for the lucky draw. So it's a higher possibility for you to get university provided accommodation, even in year 3 and 4 as compared to local Hong Kong students. So you do have the possibility of living on campus or university provided accommodation, even in year 3 and year 4.
Okay, so
Okay.
for the accommodation, can I compliment?
Yes, sir.
Okay, because I personally I served as the Russian master for 13 years, and then I recently stepped down. Then of course the student for international student first 2 years accommodation is guaranteed, and also in the student halls in total we have 9 student halls. Then a lot of international students they because of this guarantee then they can stay on campus. And then the activities, a lot of activities, and also in here, HKUST is a very international university. We use English inside classroom and also in the activity. Then the student will feel HKUST as the second home. We hope we create that second home outside the home, and also student will have chance to know other students from different countries. So it will be very fun to stay in student
Yes.
university.
I expect these are some of the concerns of our students being away from home and studying and living in an entirely different country. Ms. Strong, how about in your campus? Are there dormitories available for international students?
Absolutely. So we have 37 different residence halls on campus, so plenty of options. We will require all students to live on campus for 1 year, but we guarantee housing all 4 years. So if you want to live on campus, regardless of where you're from, you have housing. We also do have special housing students can stay in if they want to stay over break, so they don't have to go home, or if they can't go home. And so we'll keep things open there. We will see about 75% of students move off campus though after that first year into the community, into locally owned apartments or houses. So they have flexibility, but they will have housing if they want it.
Patricia, do you have any questions?
Yeah, I have one question. So it's as a junior college and secondary student, what are some of these subjects that your institutions require to be accepted into the program?
Okay, so to enter the school engineering, similar to UIUC, we look at the math subject. If you study A level, so it will be math, pure math, and further math, plus one science subject. So the science subject would be physics, chemistry, biology, computer studies, etc. Plus one third subject, but the third subject can be any subject. So the student, as long as they have math and science plus one subject, I've seen students with economics or other subject. As long as this is the third A level, I think it's okay. So these are the subject we look at. And also maybe the student want to know the mid 50% range for the A level. For the school engineering, we look at 3 A level subjects. Then the range is between A star, AA to 3A star. So this is the 50% range.
I would say, sorry, at UIUC, we will require completion through the A-level exams to be eligible for admission. So we will not consider AS levels exams or IGCSE as completion. So through the A levels, we also will require 3 at minimum for students. If applying into engineering, math and physics have to be 2 of those subjects. The third is up to them what they choose to use that space for. We admit directly to our majors. So if anyone's not engineering in this call and wants to think other things, we don't have too many tracks that require certain classes outside of engineering. So we would typically advise picking classes in related subject area to what you want to study, but engineering is really the only major competitive one that says we need physics and math for sure. I would say similar to what Professor Chung mentioned about grades, that's pretty average for us. I would say there are chances we see students with a couple Bs, depending on some of those maybe not as selective engineering majors like nuclear plasma that doesn't have as many 18-year-olds applying to it right away. Those probably have a couple more Bs in those subject areas being admitted, but typically A stars and As are what we're seeing across subjects. I don't remember if there's another part of the question, so I apologize. I think that covered it all.
So we have some students who are currently business students, but they also take maths and sciences. What are their chances of getting into the program?
We welcome them. We welcome them. So we look at three subjects. One is math, the other subject is science, and then the third can be English. So we welcome them as long as they have these two required areas.
Okay, it's good to know.
Similar at UIUC, I think the only difference, we get 17 and 18-year-olds change their mind. So there is some flexibility in that as well. We just want to know about that. You know, if they picked all business related subjects that are thinking something different, tell us in the application so we can think through that. We're going to look at other areas to see if they're prepared. Ultimately, we're seeing can students succeed in our curriculum, which is why I'm assuming at HKUST and UIUC, we're all saying these math and physics. I don't think we can stress it enough. It's a lot of math and physics.
We have a couple more questions here. So what are some of the challenges that a person might face in the career of engineering, or when you go into the field itself? What do you think are some of the challenges?
The challenges
That's
going to the field the challenges the student now facing is the new technology coming out very quickly. every year or every 2 years they see new technology. Then the students now should prepare not only learning the technology now and also the new technology in the 2 years down the road. Then it means in the school engineering, then you learn the knowledge in engineering. Also, you learn the way to absorb new knowledge. This is first. Second is we see the project scale up a lot actually in recent years, and the size of the project getting bigger, and the chance of working with other people will be higher actually. Then you may end up joining a big team and then coordinating with other people, working with very tight schedule, and this kind of scheduling, working with others, and the requirement is getting higher actually in recent years. In particular, in Hong Kong, is part of the Greater Bay Area, so we foresee because of the rapid development in the Greater Bay Area, then certainly the challenges will be more and more actually. When they graduate will be 4 years after, then they may see gigantic project in the Greater Bay Area. They join, then they should be prepared to learn new technology and also to join a large team in the project.
I think one thing I'd tell students it's getting challenging in this field is that it's a competitive job market when you graduate. So all students want computer science, all students want technology. So I would just challenge students to diversify what they're doing on campuses and take advantage of those engineering plus X programs at HKUST or the CS plus X fields, because it's now a diverse skill set you're graduating with, or do a unique research project while you're there so that you become cutting edge and going into those fields. So I would just say, the more students that want it, we hopefully have more jobs for them to go into, but that demand could also be competitive. So just be prepared that it's going to be a competitive process, not after you just get into school, but into some things moving forward. While you're still in demand, you may still have to find ways to be creative in what you do with it.
Patricia, would you like to ask the other questions?
So we have another question, which is, what academic programs is HKUST and UIUC most known for?
I missed the last word. Most popular or most?
Most known for, so most popular.
Yes. Most popular.
Most popular. Okay. Yeah. Computer science, computer engineering, civil engineering. So, okay. I don't know why they all start with C. Okay. And mechanical engineering. Yeah. So these are popular. Yeah. Probably because of the job market. Yeah, the students see more jobs in those areas.
At UIUC, computer science, really anything with the word computer in it, go ahead and just add it to that category of popularity or most known for. Our first two majors on campus when we were founded over 153 years ago was agriculture and engineering. So we are still very well known for those two fields in general, so broad scope. But I would say some programs that are lesser known that I just don't talk about as much that are super impressive still are actuarial science, psychology. So there's just some different areas to look into as well, but STEM programs in general, anything science, technology, engineering, and math are going to be really well-known programs for us.
We have another question. How does the scholarship system work in your schools?
I can go ahead and take this one first. So at UIUC, your application for admission would automatically consider you for any merit-based scholarships we do have available. I want to be very transparent with students though. We are a public state institution. So our primary mission is to serve the students of the state of Illinois. So a lot of our funding does go to the students that are from our state. So very unlikely students not from Illinois will receive scholarships in the undergraduate programs. So if cost is a factor for you, which we understand, I would always encourage students, maybe not undergrad for us, but maybe graduate programs would be a better fit, as there's a lot of assistantships and teaching positions and funding that comes differently for graduate programs. So there are multiple ways to study at UIUC, but we don't want to make it something that's going to impact you financially if it's not a good fit for undergrad. So we always like to be upfront about it if we can.
Okay, I would probably cover for HKUST scholarship arrangement. So all students applying for admissions will be automatically considered for academic scholarships. So you do not need to apply separately. And we do have a standard GCA level scholarship scheme. So technically, if you have 3 subjects that have A stars, you will receive full tuition one-off for 1 year. And if you achieve 4 A stars, you will receive full tuition renewable for all 4 years. So if you get 3 A star, you will have scholarship already. It's all merit-based.
Merit-based. That's good to know. As a, I guess another concern of our students is the community itself. Can you tell us about the community?
For HKUST, we are a very international campus here. 20 to 25% of the student population are non-Hong Kong students. We do proud ourselves to have the most international campus in Hong Kong, if not in Asia. And our students have very high chances of going overseas for exchange. We have exchange partners from over 240 top institutions globally in 37 destinations, which means there are students from these 240 partners will come to HKUC every year, so making the student population even more international. Not to mention that our student population ourselves are from 80 different countries, so it's a very international campus here.
Yes.
Similar at UIUC, we are a very international global campus. We are home to the largest international student community of all public schools in the United States and the 5th largest international community of all US universities. So we have 14,000 international students from 116 countries that call campus home. Our Indonesian community right now is looking at right around 100 students that are from an undergrad and grad levels. This last incoming class, I think we had 12 students from Indonesia join our first year class. I think some from your schools too. I believe we had a couple coming, which we love to have them here as well. So it is a very global campus. And so I think that's one big key. Also, just knowing the geographic of the United States, we are in the middle of the country, which gets kind of this persona that we are called Midwest nice. It is just that anyone is going to ask you if they can hold the door for you. Can they help you with something? So you're going to have people kind of walking all over and really helping you wherever you can. So while academically it's very challenging to get in here, it's a very collaborative and friendly campus, even for our students who aren't coming from overseas as well. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I can compliment. Can I compliment a bit? Yeah.
Yes.
I have been working in XJUST for 20 years, and I like campus. I just like our students. Actually, they are very international. Inside classroom, the teaching language is English. The medium of instruction is English. Outside classroom, then you will find this is very interesting. Then you hear different dialects, different languages outside classroom. But to me, it's fun. Actually, then you will see some students like they're from India, they're from Indonesia, from Malaysia, from South Korea. There's different languages. But once they're working in a project, then they can communicate because we use English. In the project and also inside classroom and also in the dorm, because of the 2 years guarantee of accommodation, then you will find more international students than our actual population. So so the event in English, and also you have you stay together within a dorm. There will be an international environment that you experience. So I think I answered the question. Okay, so English is the teaching medium.
That's it.
Okay, thank you.
So what kind of support can an international student expect from from the university? Being away from home and having to live with, people from all over.
We have a very supportive community. First of all, there is a society run by Indonesian students. So the student can immediately talk to the senior student, maybe as mentor. Then they could share their experience because they're senior student also from Indonesia, can help them the transition to adapt to the new learning environment at XJUST. This is first. And second is because we are running a school-based admission, the student will be divided into 9 groups. So all students will be divided into 9 groups, and each group has right balance between local and non-local. And so we have a student mentor, and they're senior students, and they run gathering every month, and also they have a professor as an advisor. Then they are required to meet the professor. Like myself, I'm advising like 15 students, first year student, throughout the year. Then I talk to the student academically, then I can give advice and maybe personal questions or any support they need. Then also we can invite our counselors and also the senior student to help.
Well, yeah, well, I can compliment a little bit from Professor Jones. This maybe happened. What Professor Jones has mentioned is after the academic year, but actually support for incoming students started long before they arrive Hong Kong. After the student receive offers from XJUST, we will start organizing what we call the welcome sections. So they can have, if they have any questions, they can ask the senior students from Indonesia during the welcome sections, and we will have groups. Either will be Facebook groups or WhatsApp groups, so the new student can join the same group with senior student and ask their Indonesian seniors questions. And before they arrive, maybe just 2 months before, we will have all the seniors and the freshers together, so for orientation. So they may have lots of questions to ask before they even arrive Hong Kong, and they will have lots of questions from parents also. So all these happen even before they arrive.
A lot of that stuff is going to be very similar at UIUC. I think the big thing to know is we all want you on our campuses. So we are going to do the very best we can to make sure you're welcome on our campuses. So that may be pre-arrival orientations, that may be those WhatsApp groups that we're talking about. This year, we we didn't have the sessions in person, and because of connection and having everyone have access to virtual learning, and they were able to create their own social media groups. So our students got together and chartered a bus from Chicago when they all flew in and coordinated their flights together and rented a bus together to come down from Chicago. So there's this community that just is going to form on its own. But the schools will do a lot to make sure you have access to them and that you also feel support, whether that's in host families to help you, kind of find your ties to the community, or take you shopping, or connect you if you are looking for a church home or religious background. They'll help with all of that. So there's going to be a lot of connection. So don't worry. We want you all here and happy.
All
It's
right.
good to know.
Well, we have another question. For students in IB and the Cambridge curriculum, which one do your universities accept more students from?
We welcome IB students. Even though I don't have current statistics, I guess because it varies every year. So IB more, A-level more than every year is different. I can tell you a little bit about the admission statistics. First is the requirement for IB. We require math. Is the analysis and approach high level and the standard level, and the application and interpretation is HL only. Then plus one science subject. So we require math subject plus one science subject. Then the mid range, then the mid 50% range is between 37 and 42. 37 and 42 is the mid 50% range for the IB.
Go ahead, Zoran. I think you're.
Well, for the university in general, because we do have applications from IB students, there are more applications from IB students. So technically that would mean we have more IB students admitted as well. So it's not that there's any difference when we assess their application. It's generally the number of IB applicants are more.
At UIUC, I don't compare curriculum to one another, so that doesn't matter for us. I want to know, how well did you do with the curriculum you were challenged within? So we're looking more in that scope versus saying A level's better than IB. That's not the case. They're both very rigorous curriculums and looked at as equally challenging. You're in an A level curriculum, and that's wonderful. We are going to review you in that context, and not say, well, the student across the street in the IB is better because they're in that curriculum. Absolutely not. So just keep doing what you're doing in your curriculum. If you are, for some reason, concerned with a friend for who's an IB curriculum, similar for us, we're going to want a math subject at the higher level, more than likely, a physics at the higher level for chemistry, or for physics for IB. But I think you'll be all right where you are. Don't worry about that too much.
I think we have time for one last question. Is the field of engineering still a male-dominated field? Would you?
Okay. Yeah. In the school of engineering, it is my personal view. Okay. Yeah. In the classroom, I see more boys than girls. I need to admit that. In recent years, I see more female applicants because of the emerging technology, artificial intelligence, and then it attracts more female applicants in recent years, and I can see the trend is going up. The female applicants, and also the job actually in computer science, IT related, and also I can see the companies welcoming students in different backgrounds, and also the gender. Also, they also pay attention to the gender diversity, and also the student background diversity. Also, now the Hong Kong companies are also looking at. So it helps us to attract more students, in particular, female applicants.
We're sitting just about at 50%, both men and women. I think we're right about 55% men, so it's slightly more males, but it's been a huge push for us to, just as Professor Chung mentioned, to try to equal that balance and have more women in STEM. So much so we have a living learning community in one of our residence halls called Women in STEM to try to get them more innovative and in that space and feel like they have just as much equal space at the table in a STEM industry as a male does. So for us, it's pretty even on campus, which is good to see.
I think we have time for one last question.
Okay.
Will mechanical engineering subject give a good opportunity for internship and job opportunity in Hong Kong upon graduation?
I think it's not only Hong Kong, also the same everywhere. As the society now, they need mechanical engineers actually. Yeah, because of the robots, automation, and also in particular in Hong Kong and Greater Bay Area, we see more and more construction projects, and they need machines, and also they need mechanical engineers. So it helps the internship a lot. Actually, we see more jobs in internship opportunities in Hong Kong in mechanical engineering. The other push is our student will learn AI as well. So they have their major in mechanical engineering. Also, they can take courses in AI. So this combination makes them very competitive, and it can help them to differentiate from other mechanical engineering graduates. Then we see the internship rate for mechanical engineering department actually is pretty high. So overall in the School of Engineering, our internship the participation rate is about 75% of the students. They have the internship experience before they graduate.
Patricia, you have one final question.
One final question. If a student has studied and pursued more than their Cambridge 3 to 4 A-level subjects, like, for example, industrial attachment, internship, or projects, would they have an advantage over their peers in college admission?
I think it depends. It depends how they talk about it in the application. For us, it's not necessarily the volume of extra projects or internships a student does, but it's how they've talked about it and how it really helped them gain experience that they want to move into their field. So at UIUC, we admit directly to majors. And so we are looking that they have some understanding of the program they're going into. So I always tell students, don't just put you intern at Google. Did you get coffee for people at Google? Did you program for people at Google? What did you do during that internship? So tell us the skill sets you learned from it and what that tied to your career goals. Then that internship's valuable. But if you just put it on there to tell me you did it, not valuable. That doesn't mean anything. I want to see what did you gain from it. So a student with an internship doesn't mean they're going to get admission over a student that maybe started a club at their school and gave me more details about how that club relates to their interest versus that internship. So it depends, which I know is everyone's favorite answer in college admissions.
Similarly in HKUS, the School of Engineering, then the students, if they have internship experience, they can just write it in the statement, then we will look at the statement. Yeah, whether there will be advantage or not, it depends on your experience and also what you have done during your internship.
Thank you all so much. And that brings us to the end of session 2. Again, we would like to thank Professor Albert Chung, Ms. Jess Strong, and Ms. Zorian Wong for joining us today.
We would also like to thank Ms. Ida, Mr. Edwards, and Ms. Aris for helping us to facilitate this session. Now, let's take a quick photograph with our esteemed panelists.
And 1, 2, 3. Another one? Thank you all for coming and good morning. Okay. Thanks, Patricia. Thank you, Mr. Edwin. Ms. Nika, still there?
Yeah.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.